What is going on, everyone? In this video, I'm here to talk about my second passion outside of video games. I love to read. Um, Also, something I don't share a lot with people is I love to write. Um, I actually have wrote a lot of stories, and maybe one day I'll think about trying to get them published. I don't know, but I don't really share that a lot with people. But I do like to write. But I love to read. My favorite author of all time, the greatest author of all time, the greatest horror novelist of all time, the man, the myth, the legend, Stephen King. His last name isn't King for nothing. He is the master of storytelling. That's the thing that I don't want people to get mixed up about Stephen King. He doesn't just write scary books. He writes probably the greatest literature I've ever read in my life. Um, he's the greatest storyteller ever. I mean, he literally is. He can tell a story, and he gives me huge inspiration. Um, he is a true legend, and he has a new book coming out this month, the month of September. I'm not for sure on the for sure date, but he actually co-wrote it with his son, Owen King. So this is a Stephen King and Owen King novel called Sleeping Beauties. I'm pretty sure it's like 800 pages. It's a pretty big book, which is exciting because if you're a reader out there, you know that the greatest feeling in the world is when a Stephen King 800 to 1,000 page novel comes out because you know you're about to be immersed into a world. And I just can't wait. I cannot wait for this. It's called Sleeping Beauties. It's a really interesting concept. Um, like when women fall asleep, they go into a coma and they don't wake up, and so like every woman is falling asleep and going into a coma. It's really an interesting, you know, concept, and I'm cannot wait for this book. Cannot wait. Uh, Definitely going to be living my life in this book. If you, that doesn't make sense, but I'm going to be as soon as the book comes out, I'm going to be reading it straight through, um, and I'm gonna go on a tail here and say that this is going to be an instant classic. I mean, pretty much everything Stephen King writes is this is the thing. This is the thing. Even Stephen King's bad books, so the ones that people regard as maybe not his best, are better than what most authors write. So that tells you how good Stephen King is. There's not a bad Stephen King book out there, in my opinion. I've not read them all, but I've read most of them. Uh, well, I don't want to say most of them. That's a strong. He's written so many. I've read a lot, pretty much. I've read a lot of Stephen King books. My favorite is It. Obviously, I've talked about that. I'm gonna bold, well, not really a bold prediction, but a prediction. His new novel, Sleeping Beauties, is going to be an instant classic. Um, that's not all though. Outside of the interesting concept, obviously this is a busy year for Stephen King. September 8th, the It remake comes out. Cannot freaking wait. Gerald's Game is coming to Netflix. 1922 is coming to Netflix. There's a bunch of Stephen King stuff that's coming out. Hashtag please do a proper Dark Tower adaptation. Anyway, um, Stephen King also announced, which I'm so excited for. He announced his new novel next year. So Stephen King writes a novel every year. He announced his new one next year called The Outsider. And if you're a Stephen King fan, you know that the books that begin with I mean, not all the times, the Tommy Knockers, a lot of people didn't like, but the books that begin with the are usually Stephen King's. I mean, do you look at The Shining, The Stand, all these great books that start with the, and this one's called The Outsider. I cannot wait to see what that book's about. I'm definitely going to be getting it. Hopefully, it comes out early 2018 because you can never have enough Stephen King books, right? Maybe he'll put out two novels next year. If he puts The Outsider out early, he might have one for fall. If not, I guess I'm totally cool with that. Um, but yeah, the man's a horror legend. He's a legend in the field of writing. He has created some of the greatest characters that have stuck with me. Characters that I can relate with. He's just a master, man, and I recommend everyone reading Stephen King. And everyone pick up his new book, Sleeping Beauties, coming out this month. I think it's late September. I'm pretty sure, but yeah, Pennywise lives.